Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we are here for our weekly angel reading for December 20th through the 26th, 2021. So before I begin, I'd just like to welcome everyone and welcome anyone who's new to the Angel School community. Also, there's a lot going on in this particular week that the reading is being, this reading is for, rather. So first we're starting off the beginning of the week with the winter solstice, and this will conclude from November 11th to December 20th, a 40-day period of where the universe, there have been downloads that have been helping us to just really release and purge, so that the intense energies that you've been experiencing in that period of time has been to help you to purge and release. So I'm sure it was very intense, as it was for me, physically, and also just I saw a lot of other outward displays of the ego. And also it was interesting to notice, and hopefully you are too, that you are starting to really see the time lapse between our inner beliefs that we're holding and the manifestation of them in our outer reality. That the laws, they're saying the laws of attraction, and I don't know why they're writing like sibling, but it's almost like it feels very sibling-like in terms of the agenda, where you just see your, it's like this, I guess I feel like they're saying is this sibling agenda, which what they just wrote. It's as if you see yourself, right? And that's really your sibling, yourself. You see yourself outside of yourself, reflecting back to you. So it's this mirror, sort of, this mirroring that's happening. And the reaction is almost immediate. So this is something for us to pay attention to, and possibly the sense I'm getting, it's a part of that purging where we released that which was keeping us from truly being a witness of this relationship dynamic, this mirroring effect with our soul and our truth. And so you get to see what it is that you're actually projecting now, is the sense I'm getting. And I just saw the word star seeds, and it feels like those of you who consider yourself star seeds, this is likely something that you have already been dealing with. It's a feeling I get. And so, it may be for some of you, what I'm sensing from them as well, is that some star seeds awakened during this time period, and so now you're experiencing this. So the thing is do not let your ego continue the illusion of needing to, because what the ego does is deflects from this mirroring process. Okay, this seeing yourself is like seeing your sibling, right? So everyone is outside of you, and everything is that mirror, is your sibling, is your soul sibling. And this is, a context of understanding that we really need to embrace. So they're not a sibling like as in other. their sibling as in you. And I don't, the sibling agenda seems to indicate that your soul wants you to start accepting you, to start accepting what you see reflected around you as you, and to no longer hold anyone else responsible or to blame, including yourself. As this, they just wrote, is the greatest disrespect. This is the greatest disrespect that we could ever commit against ourselves. And they mean that in the plural and singular way, that kind of, like when we say ourselves in that context, where, you're thinking, okay, each one of you sitting there saying, okay, me. But it means all of us as well, okay? Because we're disrespecting who we truly are, that we are all one. We are all the one, the I am, and we are all facets of that I am. Therefore, we are the I am, because we are all the facets of that I am. And when we hold any of us to blame, and I'm talking about on the spiritual level, so let's not get into the three-dimensional right now, and when people do something wrong, that they have to be held accountable and all that stuff. Let's let that go. Okay, let's just not put that into this discussion for now, and because they keep writing this word disrespect even bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's really important that we no longer do this, because when the ego utilizes this, when this happens, we can't see ourselves in the mirror. We can't see, and what you're thinking is to see your shadow, to see yourself. No, that's not what it is. To see yourself is to see the divine, to see the I am, that is you, and the facet of you that is the manifestation of that facet of the divine plan. And if we get focused on the blame, and we get focused on seeing others as right and wrong, meaning we're judging, then that mirror is completely distorted. And then we're stuck. We're imprisoned in the three-dimensional framework or construction. We're stuck there. We're imprisoned in it. And all that has been going on, especially these last 40 days, was to purge the ego's beliefs, to purge those dynamics that it sets up that causes us to think that we're here to be the judge rather than the divine, and as a representative of love. We're here to love and to be loved. And when we judge, we cannot experience that. It is withheld from us. And everything that we want to manifest that is good for us, the good that is calling you towards those projects, those ideas, it creates a barrier so that you feel then lack, and then you chase after that lack. You're chasing the tail of the ego. You're chasing its scent of lack and fear. And success is something not out there, but it's within you. Joy is not something that's out there, but it is you. Not just within you, it is you. Joy, love, abundance, worth. All this is you. And the only way you continue not to know it is to continue to judge. Because when you judge what is happening around you, you are judging yourself. You're condemning yourself to remain imprisoned within the three-dimensional construct of the ego, which spins illusions not because it's evil, because it's afraid. At the core of everything that you and I have labeled, judged, evil, at the core of that, if you deconstruct the evil acts, what you will see is fear. How that fear unwinds to such atrocities that the world has witnessed throughout history, well, that's a whole nother, which we're not here to discuss. But just trust that it is just fear. Because fear is what creates or created and continues to create the separation from what is true that you are, and everything around you is composed of that essence, which is love. And that love can only come from the divine. And that is the only place that your soul originates from, is the divine. So, and everything else. And so therefore, because we have free will, there is this choice, this duality of what we have labeled good and evil. But they want you to see that you judge in ways that just keeps throwing these situations in front of you because they don't deserve you and they don't belong to you. And it's not there as a consequence, it's there to show you what you're putting out there, what you're feeding. And we have to stop feeding fear. Evil is like an effect of fear. But fear is the cause of that. But fear only is given permission to be by our free will. Because we have been incarnated by God into this three-dimensional reality. And within it was the contrast to give us, originally meant to give us the pleasure of our souls to revel in all possibilities that we're capable of. So we're like sort of the manifestation of the capabilities of what the divine is able to create, but with a caveat, because we were given something that nothing else non-physical has been given: choice. And so what you're witnessing is your choices, whether it be peace or chaos or drama or harmony. You get to choose, and you get to align with the choice that you find most comforting and most inspiring versus the opposite. And it is up to you now that you have this been given this opportunity to mirror, to see yourself in the mirror, to see your true self in the mirror. Now you don't have to be stuck in that prison. Now, this does not mean that all of a sudden everything else that was stops, because that's not the purpose, because choice is still what you are here to exercise. It is that which makes you different from everything else in the universe that has been created, or that is, or that was. And this will never be taken away from us, because that would mean that God lacks trust, faith, and belief and love in you. And that is eternal. That will not change. But what is being given the opportunity, and how we're being assisted, is for us to change, meaning to see ourselves in the mirror and to acknowledge the grace and the power that grace represents, and to use it for the greater good without judgment, but just full compassion and unconditional love. Now, this card, so when this card popped up, I saw the symbol for Capricorn, or the mountain goat climbing up a hill. So this is a card of, well, let's see. So Archangel Chamuel also is the archangel who works with our heart chakra. And the mountain goat is about ambition and determination and leadership. So these words for me on a spiritual level resonate with what we were just saying, that you are at, it's like you're at this point, I get a sense we're going to succeed. Our mission, our purpose for the ascension process is going to be successful. It doesn't mean that you're still not going to go through the struggles, the lessons that are helping you to prepare to change over your manner of doing things. So moving from that 3-dimensional to 5th-dimensional construct. And as I said before, in the 3-dimensional mind, we see everything through this duality, and we see it and we witness it with fear. In the 5th-dimensional, we still experience the duality because that's the beauty of creation, but we experience it as love. We experience it, the duality, the contrast. We experience the off days, the good days, the evil, the divine, the divinity. We experience it as love. Sounds weird, I know. But just don't go there, okay? Stay with me here. We experience it as love. We understand in the 5th-dimensional mind, we understand that the contrast leads us to be able to choose the higher choice from the choices that were presented. And as well as I do, as many of you watching have been on that ascension process, where you've sat down and you've had really, horrible things happen to you in your life. And at some point, it clicked. The purpose. Even if you don't forgive, forget, or understand fully, but you understand what it has made you and who you've become as a result of that now. Especially when you are able to stand in your power and feel as though you've risen above it. And that is love. That which elevated you, uplifted you out of that, that was love. And that is the fifth dimensional experience. There are things that we struggle to turn away from, even when the choice continues to be a source of pain. And one of the things that I feel about the fifth dimension, as it's coming, as we're beginning to integrate it, is that it is abruptly not drawing this thing out. So you may not like the abruptness. But the drawing it out made it easy for you. It's like tough love. It's like someone who's addicted to something. The drawn out process makes it easy for us to make excuses and say it isn't so. When it's abrupt, when it's cataclysmic, it's sobering, right? It's sobering. But this isn't because you deserve this, because you're bad. This is because you are incredibly loved. This is because that love no longer wants you to know anything else. They no longer want you to lust for anything. They want you to have the immediate experience of joy. They want to free you. So what is coming at the result of the soul is this to set you free. The truth, the mirror, it will set you free. This relationship that they've been trying to, they've called it this sibling agenda, I don't know why, but this mirroring, this is the truth. When you see yourself in the mirror, the truth will set you free. So this is going to be the most difficult of times, because the truth will set us free. But we have to be willing to stop making the excuses, even if you don't understand any other way. If there's no other explanation except the excuses that keep coming to you, just don't make them. Just stand still and can just confess the truth that you understand in this moment. It's better to confess the truth you understand than to make an excuse, because excuse is really a lie. Just be honest with yourself. If you're struggling to find love in your life and every attempt just turns out seemingly it's like, oh God, this is the one, and then it just keeps turning out to be the same thing, stop with excuses. And what I mean by that is stop trying to understand why. Because what you usually do, those are lies. When you tell yourself it's something about you, or you're too this, your body's not this, or your personality is this, those are the excuses I'm talking about. Be honest. The honesty might be, I'm afraid of being hurt. Because when you tell yourself the truth, well, that's your ego's truth. Let's be clear about that. See, once you tell that truth, the ego's truth, then that illusion has to fall away. And if you keep doing, then you will arrive where none of those excuses matter. And then when you realize it's not your fault, feel how your energy just calms down. You're free at that moment. And that's when you are connected to you, the true love, not just of your life, but of all life, right? Once you're realigned with that, you are love. And love must come to you, not just in that particular form, but in all forms. And you must not exclude any of them because you are fixated on one. Receive joy wherever it comes, because that is the path that God and the angels are guiding you towards, the thing that you truly have desired. That is to be loved in a loving relationship. But you must follow the path of joy. The different other forms of love that come to you once you have that moment of truth, the moment you're set free. And this is true for all things, whether it's a job. And so this card is talking about a career transition. And I mean, the Capricorn came up. So this could be a literal, but I also get a sense of that we're going through a career transition, meaning our 3-dimensional to 5th-dimensional career, because it's been a career. These excuses, the blame and the judgment. We've made a career out of this. Humanity has made a career out of this illusion, this lie for eons of time. And now we have the opportunity to switch over. And since Archangel Chamuel deals with the heart, this is a switch of the heart muscle, the heart alignment. All right, the message on the card, and this light, but it's so dark again, rainy here, it says your life purpose is triggering a blessed career change. And it's also true that our careers are a huge part of our identity and our worth. And this is an area where the ego can really trigger us, to take that word, can really trigger us and lock us in that prison, because we fear the things that the money that we're earning, we fear losing those comforts and being able to afford them. And we trap ourselves in careers that we don't resonate with, or we trap ourselves in a career that is meant for us, but we are not allowing ourselves to be fully authentic, to fully express ourselves. And we need to make some changes. So this could be a change of career or a change in your approach to your career. But a transition is happening nonetheless. And it comes, they write in the word confession, that transition will come through your confessions. Confess and let the truth set you free. And then you will see the abundance starting to unfold in a path that you have to be willing to accept in order for you to arrive in a sustainable frequency of expression that is the blessings that you are wishing and hoping for. All right, let's take a look at the card for the beginning of the week. Strength. And this card just speaks to a lot in terms of, in a literal sense, it is going to take a great deal of strength to face this mirror. The mirror is fully active. You've got to notice its signs. They had written this earlier. Like the stuff I was experiencing, Like, in the easiest way is the stuff that just seems like this is ludicrous. This is getting insane. And it's a situation where you've been dealing with it for years, but it was, it comes and goes. But you're finding now that every time you keep doing that thing that you do, three-dimensional, it keeps popping off like crazy, like the world and you are in an insane asylum. And it's going to take strength to switch over. And because you're going to have to switch over. You're going to have to stop judging whatever it is. Because when you judge that that sibling agenda, you are judging yourself and you keep yourself locked in that prison. And it's kind of like this strength card because you can't see this relationship between that projection of fear, the lion, right, and yourself. You can't see your relationship. You can't see that sibling agenda at all. When you look in the mirror, all you see is fear. You're worried up. You're stressed out. You feel pressured. You can't find a passage to comfort you, a pathway to help you walk out of it. So you're going to have to stop making all those excuses as I explained it. Don't take that as the judgment excuses, like when you're being lazy. That's not the kind of excuses we're talking about here. You don't want to get yourself helped. I'm not talking that way to you ever. But I'm definitely in this moment, as I'm realizing as this information is coming through to me, that I'm not talking to you in that way today for sure. Okay? All right, let's take a look for the card in the middle of the week. And look at this. We have a lot of major arcana cards. So this is telling us so far that this is really big. This is going to be huge. And the star card is a card of hope. It's a card of restoration after the storm, the tower, right? And so, this card, the water bearer, she pours out this water, this healing, restorative. The water like regenerates, right? We nurture, it helps us to grow plants. So it's that same idea, love. This is where you need to counteract your fears by pouring out your love. If someone hurts you or you feel really down, pour out your love, express it in a form of love, creative art or something of that nature. Instead of letting yourself feel invalidated or letting something make you feel inadequate, turn within and change the approach. Find the way that resonates for you, that lights you up, because you know it's going to do the same for everyone else. Don't give in, quote unquote, to the excuses that the ego tries to draw you in. It uses those excuses to draw you into its reality, back into that prison, so that you can turn that key on yourself, because it can't and it won't, has no power to do it. The key that imprisons us, we turn it. Every choice, by choice and belief. So don't give in to that. All right, let's take a look at the card. Wow, we have a lot of great cards here. The 10 of Water for the weekend. Fulfillment. This is emotional fulfillment. This transition will lead you to have an experience in your day-to-day life of inner fulfillment, bliss, and harmony. It's not about the world might not seem like it's changing around you, but you've changed. judged. That's the fifth dimensional construct. You no longer see the need to judge, to put the blame, because you see through that mirror the effects of every time you do that. And the mirror is helping you to be aware of that sibling agenda so that you start loving everything around you, because you finally get it. It's me I'm loving through this act. Through this fifth dimensional agenda, I'm loving me back. And when I'm loving me so hard, everybody else is a beneficiary. It's the judgment, labeling things as bad, right, or good, whatever you do. It's that labeling, that judgment that is locking you down. And because we're so used to using it, once you confess what you're really feeling, and then the truth comes through, and you see yourself, then you're free from that. And you don't need that. It's going to take time to figure out how to keep using this the right way, without how to use compassion, how to use the tools of love. But it's a worthwhile effort, and it will take your strength and courage and take your willingness to transition in order to do it. And faith is a card of faith too, because when she starts to rebuild the world after that tower moment, she has faith in the long term. And this is a card about the long-term goal. It's a card of promise, of faith that you will succeed when this card comes up. So whatever is on the table today, whatever's on the table in your life right now, know that is about to move on, and it's about to be elevated and healed. All right, so let's take a look at the card from the bottom of the deck. While we're getting all these, okay, the Moon card. So this is telling you that things have to come up in order for you to be free. It's kind of like, you're at and this is so terrible, but I just gotta, it's like, I don't know how to put this, but I'm gonna do it. But have you ever been really sick of your stomach, and you're somewhere far away from home, and you just want to suppress it so that you can be in a place where you feel comfortable. But this is what this card is saying. That's the opposite of that. When it needs to come, when your purge, when your truth moment needs to happen, it needs to happen then. And I mean, if this is something, it could be where you feel yourself in a conversation with somebody and you just have always held back. But the moment it's coming, and you can feel it just has to come out then, because that's the moment where all will be a witness to the truth and all will be set free. And if this is just between you and yourself, it's the same thing. I had to put that illustration so that it help you to understand that you don't get to choose when this change is going to, when this revelation of that change is going to come to you, when the truth will be there, will be right in front of you to set you free. You don't get to choose that. So don't suppress. Don't try to hold it back. Let it be in that moment. You will be so relieved at the sensation of the freedom of no longer having to bear the weight and the stench of your fears. They write again, confess. Confess. Instead of making up excuses, instead of getting angry, and that's another way of making an excuse, getting angry, flying off the handle, getting depressed, that's another excuse. And I'm not saying that your feelings when you're in the depression, and I'm not saying that's an excuse, but I'm saying that the ego uses it. I'm not saying you're making the excuse. I'm saying that the ego uses all of these forms of fear, any form of fear, anything that you can think of that is not happiness, joy, love, or peace. It is the ego's construct, and it is an excuse it uses to separate you from your truth in the mirror, which is this amazing, extraordinary state of grace and peace and love and happiness. So, my friends, I send you lots of love and angel blessings. And again, I wish you a happy holidays. If you would like to get an angel reading with me, and the angels are telling me probably January, possibly February will be the last for the special offer I've been presenting since the pandemic began. So my half-hour reading for $77. I've been offering for 1 full hour. And you could just go to my webpage, theangelschool.com/services, and you would just select the half-hour reading as is, and then within 24 hours, I will send you a confirmation email noting a special offer. And then there will be instructions in the email. So if you want to get an angel reading this month, for the holiday week, probably between the 24th and the New Year's, a little bit after New Year's, I will be off, but you can still get the offer now if you would like, and we can set up something for January. Okay? So have a beautiful week, and God bless you.